Welcome to the channel. Thanks for being here. I'm Nero. Deck review. Looking at 66 or better, or 66 better. German, Japan, mid-range deck. Always like OCC, and I really like it the day before OCC when the decks are published. But before we get into the deck, let me just say, you want to take a look at the Cards Academy. It's under a new design. They're really doing a lot to help new players have a better experience. So the link will be in the description. Check out Cards Academy. You'll be able to see videos from Bear Gardner, Spoos, Petrichor, myself, and others. I hope you enjoy it, and we always love your feedback. There'll also be links down below to Bear Gardner and Petrichor's channels as well. Now about the deck, 66 or better. This is a heavy frontline meta. A lot of people prepared for that, but there's not a lot of frontline being played. So there's a lot of mid-range decks as an archetype that are being played tomorrow. This one I like very much. One of the things that we'll take a look at is the curve. It's heavy one drop, 1 to 4, but it's not your typical aggressive deck where you're just trying to rush the opponent. You'll notice that in a lot of the one drops, there's Type 94 TK early, which obviously is aggressive. Burst of Fire, you're not playing on one. Out of the Mist as a defensive card, maybe. 15th Cav, 3 copies of that. Some early pressure. 33rd Recon is not really pressure, only 1 copy. NACHSCHUB is not applying pressure, that's credit accelerant. And GEBIRGS is credit accelerant. So out of the 12 one drops, only 5 of those are applying pressure to the opponent, right? So on a curve like that, if you didn't see the deck and you saw the curve, you're probably thinking this Jagro or something like that, but it's not. It operates more like a mid-range deck. It does not have a lot of orders in it, only 6. You have 2 Out of the Mist for defensive. Burst of Fire is going to be offensive. You have Admiral Hipper as an order, and Southern Plan as credit accelerant. So there's only really 3 orders in the deck that are dealing with the opponent's units. Everything else is just value-based mid-range type cards, right? So we got Type 94 for early, but really your earlier plays like Type 94, 15th Cav, I much prefer to have autocannon in the game. I just call it the cannon, so that's what I'll probably call it in this video. I like playing it when cannon's in play, so the optimal opener for me, now that's going to change depending on if you're going first or second, or what the opponent's deck is. But so in general, I like to have GEBIRGS in the opener for accelerant. Hopefully it survives. If it does, you can really get ahead. Autocannon on turn 2 or 64 Panzer. 64 Panzer on turn 2, push to the front, is really going to accelerate you into the higher value cards, right? So GEBIRGS into 64 or GEBIRGS into autocannon, followed up with a 35T. Those are the cards I like to have in the opener. And from there, it's going to be draw dependent. But we'll take a look at the rest of the cards in here. Again, Type 94 early for early pressure or doing an extra point of damage off the autocannon, because that's the thing, right? You can get a lot of value out of autocannon. So every unit that you play, every unit does an extra point of damage when it's deployed. So you can just ping your opponent. If you can get 3 or 4 out of it, that's great. That's just tremendous value. So you have a cannon that's doing 3 on its own, plus an extra point for every unit that's played. Love that card for artillery. Let's look at the other cards. Burst of Fire. You're trying to pair it up with Dragon Slayer, which when becoming veteran does 6 damage. So you add the Burst of Fire to the Dragon Slayer. Dragon Slayer now attacks for 7, but Burst gives it Fury, so you're swinging for 14. You work towards it as a win con, but you're just getting value out of all of your cards. We'll continue on. Out of the Mist, you can salvage a unit, like to play it on early units, like a 164th Infantry from US, for example. Or you can steal some higher value units if some more damage gets done. 15th Cav, early pressure or getting an extra point off the cannon. 33rd Recon, just 1, extra draw. NACHSCHUB accelerates you if you destroy a unit, only 2 credits, only once. GEBIRGS is that early game accelerant. HEINKEL for some added draw and picking off some smaller units. 64 Panzer with Blitz, get it to the front line. If it survives, it's going to give you some extra credits on the next turn. Temporary credit acceleration. Panzer III-H, one of my favorite cards in the game. Have an infantry in play, attacking for 2 with a cannon. You get an extra point, that's 3. 22nd Infantry, if it stays around, you're drawing an extra card per turn. Value. Cannon, we've already talked about. 101, you can pair it with people love to pair it with SWG or swag as we call it, but swag's not in the deck. But you can pair it up with a cannon or something else. MEBF 109G, pincer it up with a unit. I like to pincer it to the cannon. See the theme. You're getting the cannon is doing a lot of work here if you can get it. MEBF, pincered it up. When the cannon destroys a unit, you're going to gain a credit slot and draw a card. 20 Panzer, what can you say? The German Sherman. It go ahead and gets a 35T and a combined arms, getting in for more damage. Again, if the cannon's in play and you drop your 35T, that's an extra point. Combined arms, that's 5 damage. SCHÜTZEN is going to get in for 3 or more. Panzer III for some extra draw. You can also put your combined arms on the Panzer III that you get off the German Sherman, off the 20 Panzer. 2 copies of Southern Plan. If you get it, great. It just helps accelerate, but it's not critical. Admiral Hipper, return a unit to its hand. FW-190 JAGDBOMBER, send a unit to its hand. Again, it's value. They're doing multiple things on deployment. KOMET, what can you say? With an autocannon in play, KOMET is dealing 5 damage per turn, not 4. And 3 FW-190As. Interesting, I think this is probably doing fairly well against Brit Ramp, I think, in theory. I haven't been able to test it and see. But you have enough fighters that you can kind of keep the bombers at bay. You got 3 copies of FW-190, a KOMET that's 4, JAGDBOMBER's 5, Dragon Slayer is 6, some artillery in the back that might be pincered up. A lot of value in the deck. It's a lot of fun to play. I hope you enjoy playing it. I hope you enjoy testing it. Good luck to 66 better tomorrow in the OCC Top 8 tourney. Thanks for being here. Again, check out the links below, especially Cards Academy and the work that they're doing there. Thanks for being here. Stay safe. Be well. So we're just going to do some gameplay here. We're going to do a little bit on casual first and then take it off to the ladder, see how we do. Opening hand, we don't have the accelerant. Really want the accelerant, can't find it, but we've got the cannon. So a little bit of a slower start. You always want to go GEBIRGS first if you can, or if you can find it. So we're mulliganing to get the start that we want, but we just weren't able to get it. That happens. Opponent's playing Germany with Africa Corps on turn 2. It's probably a mid-range controlish type build. Lead with 64 here. I'm wondering if he floats. He does float. But he's floating 3. So as much as I'd like to push 64 to the front, I think he has envelop. But he could also have other counters for what I bring in. So it's a little risky move. But we're going to play the cannon because we're trying to get as much value off of that as possible. Fortunately, he didn't have a counter for when we played it. He's taking a lot of time, which I think is interesting. It makes me think he has another counter, actually. And he's considering what to play. So at this point, I still think he has envelop. So we're going to lead with the Type 94. He does. Now we're getting the value off the cannon. Playing the 35T. Play the 64th for the credit accelerant for the coming turns. He's been floating credits every turn, so I think he's got multiple counters. But we got one out. He's not floating now. Now we're just getting value off the cannon, the 35 Ts. Each one's doing an extra point of damage. Now when you play Comet, Comet is now hitting for 5 instead of 4 if you have a cannon in play. He's taking quite a bit of time. Try doing the math. Now here, he's still floating 6. I don't know what his ally nation is. It's Finland. Should have attacked with a cannon first, regardless. A lot of ways, it's very, very difficult to. You're not going to lose this game. Plan to burst a fire on the next turn. He surrenders, goes double careless talk. That's it. All right, game 1 with 66 bettors, German, U.S. German, Japan mid-range. I was looking at my opening hand, forgot what I was playing there for a second. I don't think I mind the double 35T, but we want to kind of get it. We want to get some more value because unless they're playing Soviet as an ally, we would expect this to live on turn 1, and then we follow up with Panzer. Okay. Playing Commando. I was thinking it might be Brit Ramp, but that is not the case. We're just going to push. And then hopefully we can put some pressure on next turn. Double Commando. It's pretty good. I almost want to deny him a credit. But I think I'm going for the pressure instead. And then we'll Southern plan next turn. Maybe. Yep. Mm-hmm. Gonna be a lot of this. Sure. All of our units have low toughness right now against Commando. That's going to be rough. That's why I played the Heinkel next. There's going to be a lot of this going on. Probably lose a bunch. Didn't really expect to see Commandos up here. This is good for him. Yep. And we're gonna burst a fire here. and win. Just playing to our outs. Wasn't really expecting to see commandos with the kind of low toughness creatures that we got. I think it'd be kind of low toughness units. I think it'd be kind of a difficult matchup.